Intercontingency.
And we're back. What's up, folks?
Hello. Welcome on back to Hot Button Co-op, the show that gives just as good as it gets.
Always off-centered, it feels like to me. But
Hey,
fuck it.
you know what? My hips are off-center, but I've been that way since track and field. So why
Hey,
should I
Rod,
stop
what's up?
now?
Your hips.
They don't lie. I tell you what. Okay, we are on. I believe we're on Long Night of Sauce. Wow, we only made it. Oh, I say only. We did 1, 2, 3, 4. Gasp. We are at Rally Point Alpha, I believe. We're just starting this mission. So outstanding.
Well, color me pink.
So yeah, we are still continuing on with our Master Chief Collection. We are in Halo Reach, which we started up last time around. It's a couple weeks back because we have had some wild happenings going on over the last couple of weeks that has kept us from being able to stay up with our regularly scheduled programming. We are continuing on with the level Long Night of Solace. I think last time we were talking about, I think we finished up talking about all the nonsense with that coalition of dubbing actors.
Well, I mean, just when you think that the rabbit hole couldn't go down any further.
Yes. Which we'll get into in a little bit. But first things first, how has the week been for you, Gimp?
Mine's been pretty intense, I would say.
Pretty aptastic?
Yeah. Just bouncing back and forth between a bunch of stuff. Intense as in I've been playing BioShock, and it is really amazing, and I love it.
Good. Are you almost mad you waited so long to play?
No, I don't know what the issue was for me, because I played it and I got to the part where you first are introduced to the splicers, but it was like, I don't know, it was like something didn't capture me at the time to continue it a little bit further.
Okay.
I guess maybe I thought it was really open world back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
It's too
I don't.
linear for me, I'm confined, that kind of a thing.
Well, I like more linear stuff. Open world is more like you go around exploring, and I thought it would be like one gigantic thing, but it's like a nice mixture.
Yeah, it definitely is, because it's like if you stay just on the track that takes you to your next destination or your next objective, you miss huge sections that you can go and explore, like some of the apartment buildings inside of it.
Yeah, well, luckily enough, it's not super big enough like Skyrim. Like I just got done playing Skyrim, and that was really good, but for me it was like I had to decide a point to actually, I guess you could say, beat the main mission, because there's so many quests, and to me there's like, when there's lore inside of a lore and almost like inside of a lore, that's where I get tired of it, because I'm just like, I don't want to waste my time trying to like learn the backstory and stuff. I like being the backstory being told like as you go. Yeah,
it's like Skyrim is a completionist's dream, just like I would say Breath of the Wild is for a lot of people. And to try and go down every single little rabbit hole, especially if you're trying to collect those little pink shards, to try and go down every single little storyline, that is hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah, that's why like big worlds like that. Rod says, you don't get it, Greg. LOL, you're supposed to experience it without rushing. I guess since I've made it a goal to actually get through my backlog, I guess I am kind of putting a bit of a rush on it, but I do get tired after a while, to where it's like you advance like a little bit, and then it's like, you talk to this one rando person, and it's like, oh, here's a side quest, and it's like
more missions to do before you get back to the main thing.
Like, why don't get it? I guess I'm one of those really story driven but like linear but a little open, almost like a sandbox, if my terminology is correct, where it's a sandbox to where it's open but it's contained, as opposed to just like, oh, like you just can't go anywhere because the game isn't programmed to like go anymore per se.
I mean, prime example would be Halo Infinity. I think they did a fantastic job with giving you enough open space to move around in, while giving you plenty of little side missions and storming the castle type objectives, but also you could jump back to the story really quickly. And it didn't feel like, even if you did the little side missions, that you were deviating too much, given that you were unlocking new weapons, you were fighting bad guys that are involved with that brotherhood.
Yeah, I guess that was like what I meant with very big stuff going on, because in BioShock I just got to the part where I kind of guessed it, not like in the beginning of the game, but like especially when you're finally getting up to reach Ryan. It was like, wait a minute, I have a sneaking suspicion that, you know, since we've had this mysterious story about the main character for so much, what is he a part of the thing? And then sure enough, you know, it's like, oh, you've been brainwashed to be controlled just to get rid of Ryan because you know, Atlas is the other business partner who wants to take over, and that's all you were used for, was just to take over. And I was like, well, that sucks, but I've been saving the little sisters, so they helped me.
Very good. Okay, so
do they not help you if you harvest them during that scene where you have to try to escape? They don't help you?
Nope. So, okay, so you beat the first one then?
The first BioShock?
Yeah. Have you beaten the first BioShock then?
Well, I mean, I went in, the little sisters open up the gate, and I go down in there, and then now we've got to find
okay, so you haven't
the
beaten
real
it
dude yet. I'm assuming I'm near the end.
You're getting...
I'm assuming I'm getting close, because I already killed Ryan, which was insane, telling him to...
Oh, dude, with the golf club?
Yeah, just...
Bam.
Yeah, I didn't, I was like, well, you know, if you knew I was gonna kill you, like, I don't know, just to prove a point, bash me in the head with this golf club. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, he had some penance, I guess.
Hey, Fig, good morning, you are here. Well, thank you for being here. It is afternoon where we're at.
It is. It is indeed. Yeah, no, you actually have you've got a chunk left, actually.
That's kind of what I figured, because I'm like, I mean...
The first game is fairly long. I want to say the second game is even longer, but the second one also has a separate DLC called Minerva's Den, which is a full nother game, which it's really, really good.
I want to say I looked into BioShock, and like, if you just do the main story, you can beat it, I guess. I think they said in like 12 hours.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I mean, I'm at least exploring enough, and they have an area where you can farm splicers and get a bunch of money and max out real quick. So I read up that, because I'm all down for that those exploits and even passwords and glitches and mods and stuff like that. I like that. I know people are like, it takes away the experience. I'm like, dude, I think it just adds a whole nother level to it. It's just fun.
Yeah, it also depends on what kind of experience you want with your game, because like...
Oh, you live in Texas too? Oh, I gotcha.
Excellent.
I've only seen you in chat and I haven't chatted a whole lot.
I actually talked to somebody today at the con I went to, and they were like, I saw you on Nick Ricada's stream, and I was like, dude, well, all right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was cool. My face and my voice preceded me.
Good.
Without having to be in anime form, which is awesome. But yeah, no, I like in certain games and in certain, I guess... Well, okay, the way I usually do games is I'll play it just straight through normally first, but then my next playthrough, I want all the cheats. I want all the fun I can have. If there's a new game plus option, I will totally go inside there and crush everything. Like Dante's Inferno is a great one for that.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm more of just, if I feel like doing it, I'm not gonna... I can still enjoy a game even if the first run is with like cheats and stuff like that, because you know, I guess I limit myself in the extent of, like with Skyrim, I mean, there's a mod called the Cheat Room where you could literally get whatever army you want and stuff like that.
Okay.
But like, I didn't start the game full maxed out, which I think that would actually be a fun series to even do by itself. Just One Punch Man mode, where you're just God mode in the beginning and just go through it, whether you've played it first or not. But I still maintain that enjoyment, even if like cheats are involved and stuff, because it was like, whatever. Mostly the cheats or mods I use bypasses grinding and stuff because I just hate doing it.
Yeah, BioShock is definitely a grindy game for sure.
Luckily, I have not felt it that much. Luckily, you can just
Not
advance.
BioShock.
Skyrim?
Skyrim, yes,
Yeah.
grindy game. BioShock can be grindy.
The only thing I grinded was like, it's like I need money. I'm just gonna go back to this one place and farm, and you get the money real quick, especially when you have scavenger to look in the body again.
Oh yeah, and then if you break open vending machines too, get all kinds of money that way as well.
Wait, you can break vending machines? I just been hacking them. You can just whap them and.
If I'm not mistaken, you can blow them up. I think, unless maybe that's number 3. Because there's you get a really cool, instead of calling them plasmids, they're called vigors in number 3, and there's one where you can hack machines.
Oh.
But I believe you can also just break them flat out. So maybe that doesn't happen for this first
Oh, it
game.
hasn't happened yet. I mean, I've shot explosions near vending machines and
Okay, then it must just be hacking.
nothing's exploded and given me free stuff.
Well, dying.
Where are we going?
I think we have to just defend the station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're enjoying it. BioShock is a fantastic series. Halo is still my favorite series of all time, but BioShock Infinite is my single favorite story of any game ever. It is very, very good.
I have to say Metal Gear Solid's my favorite series, which that list of yours might change if you ever decide to plug in my PS3 that I let you borrow and play the game.
Once I finish Hades, I'm so close to finishing Hades. I'm going for that 100%, Greg. 100%.
There is going to be no 100%. I don't know.
Well, don't I feel sheepish? You gotta do all your things. Okay, LNX, perform evasive maneuvers. Oh, look at that. Try a U-turn. All range mode. Anybody who gets that reference. Yeah, while you're using the joystick, just tap X, a direction.
Oh.
My gosh, look at this. Cool, so you can do U-turns. Can't do loop-to-loops, though. All right, sweet. So
All I'm getting from this is Greg is casual, and that's fine.
Cashy Greg, Cashy Monk and Pimpers. So anyway, lots of stuff going on over the last couple of weeks. We've been, as we said, we've been out of it for a couple weeks now, so we haven't been able to be as, I guess, as attuned with the pulse of society, save for in our own spare time, depending on whatever podcast we're listening to or news sources we are reading or watching. But have you been keeping up at all with the goings-on in Ukraine as of late?
I mean, not really. Nah, not really. I mean, once you get kind of tired after a while when all it is he still invading? Yep. Okay.
Yeah. You know,
I don't know what else to do. I mean, I guess the idea, the only thing Ukraine related that I saw was literally a tweet by Candace Owens, who said something about Ukraine and about the neo-Nazism that's in there. And New York Times contacted her, kind of trying to be like, where'd you get this source from and stuff, and she's like, oh, I actually got it from you guys. And then she like posts. That's like the most up-to-date of Ukraine.
cell phone right there.
Yeah, because they're the New York Times, so they're a bunch of buttholes.
Yeah. So dude, I listening to a podcast on Joe Rogan last night. It was with Dan Aykroyd, and he talked about the New York's.
Nice.
He talked about the New York Times actually being.
Dan Aykroyd was on
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know when it was filmed, but he was talking about the crystal skulls, and he mentioned. He says, "Yeah, the New York Times, they're a pretty credible source." And I laughed out loud. I was like, "Oh, Dan, write us another Ghostbusters, will you?" Yeah, in the last time we were talking about this, the invasion was still just a few days in, and of course we talked about the Ghost of Kiev, which turns out was propaganda from Ukraine. Cool story as as it was initially. It's been really, really hard to know exactly what is the truth and what is not the truth, given that we have the war effort propaganda machines on both the Russian and the Ukrainian sides pumping out their own versions of what all is happening. And obviously, if you're the side that's that's getting hit, if you're the little dog inside the fight, you want to try and make yourself seem as beastly as possible. If you go back to one of the original settler wars that we had, one of the original forts, I forget which little battle this was, but we were fighting the Indians here, and what they did at this fort, because they didn't have enough people to handle the invasion that was coming in of the Indians, so they had holes cut inside the walls of the fort so you could put your guns through and shoot. Well, because they didn't have nearly enough people, they actually stuck like a bunch of I want to say they stuck a bunch of either painted or burned broom ends through these holes to make them seem like extra guns. They had, if I'm not mistaken, they had like hats on top of what would essentially be like a life-size corn silk doll all over, so that looking from the outside it seemed like it was a pretty huge force, when it turned out there was very few people inside who were even capable of fighting, let alone holding that fort, given that there were so many women and children. But if you look at Kiev as those people inside the fort, it would make sense to them to try and seem as strong as possible, inventing the story about the ghost of Kiev, which turns out the video that you see of that jet that flies over the streets and somebody looks up and they see it, turns out it was actually from a flight simulator video game, or a flight simulator game on the computer that somebody had taken the footage from. And I guess the video was out months ago, if not years ago.
And no one just was like, that's from a video game.
Well, finally somebody pointed out, and they were like, actually no, this is flight simulator footage. I've seen this video before, and they made it known that it was propaganda.
So Ukraine did this?
Yeah, somebody from Ukraine did this. There was a lot of videos surfacing where you see
yo, what's up, Stuart?
You see Ukrainian individuals, and they're being kind to Russian soldiers who've been captured. And so the question was, okay, is this a real thing? Is this footage from way back when? Or do we actually know the story here? Are they just saying these things? There's videos. There's one video of this guy calling his mother. And I believe,
oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, is this a real thing here? Is this a put on? And just everything surrounding Zelensky, given the fact that he was himself an actor. And I don't know if did you ever see the movie Man of the Year with Robin Williams?
No.
So it's truth is stranger than fiction, but he plays inside of it a late night talk show host, and his main shtick is really hounding those in the political sphere. And somebody hollers out, I guess, from his audience, "Oh, you should run for president." And so he decides to, and he ends up winning.
Okay.
And then it's like, oh wow, this guy who used to just be a political commentator is now literally running the free world. Well, I guess Zelensky, he has been in, I think, 3 seasons now, if not more, of the show, in which he plays the president inside the show. And then from that, I don't know if it was a direct result of that show or just people deciding that they liked him enough as a performer to elect him to their highest office in the land, but then he became the president. So it was literally art begetting life.
Huh.
So with all of that, there's definitely something to the theatrics, for sure, in his approach to how he's doing things. You know, don't send me lifeboats, don't send me planes, take my people out of here, send me bullets. We're gonna be here until question marks. There was even a video, I believe, that surfaced of him, and he's standing, I forget in what square he's standing in, but then there was talk of, oh, well, that video was taken before all this happened. He's not actually physically there right now. Who can be believed? What can be believed? It's been so murky, and it's one that I haven't really done any commenting in the Twitters and the Reddits, really, because I'm hard pressed to find the thread of truth that's woven through everything right now. People have been asking the question, you know, is Putin somehow in the right because he's actually trying to take on a neo-Nazi threat within Ukraine, which there is a neo-Nazi presence in Ukraine. This is actually factual. It's like, is he somehow in the right for doing that? Is there more at stake here than any of us really understand? Which I would say probably affirmative on that one. As there was some other stories coming out saying that NATO has been encroaching on Russian territory, their border, for quite a while now, and so this is possibly a showing of force from Putin, saying, "Hey, you guys weren't supposed to cross this line. You're getting way too close now." It's hard to say.
The ADL says those Nazis are okay. said Stewart.
Yeah, it's tough. I imagine that in the next, however long this takes to finally be sorted out, this, for all intents and purposes, this war that's going on, I imagine we're still going to get a lot of lies. We're going to get a lot of what the left would call misinformation. We're going to get a lot of propaganda. I don't even know if we'll know exactly fully what's going on.
Wouldn't misinformation and propaganda it's just the same? Why even use their stupid terminology?
Yeah, it's really dumb. Misinformation or propaganda is largely just a flowery term for calling it a lie. Which is, I think it's probably their goal whenever they have to mention it inside the news. Just, oh yeah, for sowing misinformation. Oh, you mean sowing lies? Yeah. Let's hang you in the public square. Let's do that for all your misinformation. But so I know, what was it? I believe Biden actually went over. President Biden went over. Former Vice President Biden went over and was supposed to be talking to Putin and trying to settle this thing.
I'm sure Putin just laughed and probably laughed some more and then just ran away.
If I was Putin at this point, I would have shown up to that little meeting with a box of Depends and probably a 3-pack of pacifiers and just offered that to Biden as an initial greeting. But suffice to say that Biden has not made himself at all appear strong in Vladimir Putin's eyes at all. And he was questioned, I guess, again.
About the sanctions?
Yeah, about the sanctions. And he got all fiery about it, saying that the sanctions were never actually supposed to be a deterrent. Even though that was what everybody was saying that they were, even himself. He was saying that we're going to be putting some of the hardest economic sanctions on Vladimir Putin and Russia. Understanding full well this was supposed to be a deterrent. However, sanctions without any actual physical action to back up those sanctions do nothing. It's literally just you, and being that we're a world away or half a world away, with the exception of Alaska being so close, it's literally you ringing up a friend and saying, "Hey, take the scenario. It'd be like me calling you up and saying, "Hey, Greg, you're not allowed to use your stove anymore, okay? You can't use your stove to cook food anymore." And you're like, "Oh, man, dude, that sucks." And then you hang up the phone with me and you're like, "Freaking retard, I'm using my stove right now just because I can. I'm going to go melt down a pack of batteries just because I feel like it." That's essentially what the sanctions were from former Vice President Biden to Vladimir Putin. It was like, oh no, they put the sanctions on me. I guess we'll have to do something different. Oh, really got us hard there. Oh.
Big says, I really hate all the virtue signaling over Ukraine. Like, nobody cared when our government was bombing Middle Eastern countries.
Yup.
The same people virtue signaling over Ukraine didn't say a damn thing about Hong Kong demonstrations. See,
yep.
This is where going so extreme is just pointless, because it can, like, well, they know. I'm giving them too much credit of them being stupid, but they know. The left know that because of their extremities on things, that if they were to apply it to everything, they would be the worst people that they hate, which,
yeah,
you know, shocker, they are. Yeah. So that's why they create terms, literally retconning their minds into thinking that they're in the right, because, you know, just like what we said earlier. Well, that's misinformation. Well, it's misinformation when you guys do it. It's a lie when the opposite side does it. See, like, these people are so stupid. And like, it's like, we know what you guys pull.
Yeah, we
stuff
know
like
the
that.
game, and you know it's
the only people. Yeah.
It makes me wonder, because we did touch on this a little bit last time when we were talking, and initially it seemed like China was in support, at least it seemed from all of their own posture, that they were somehow in support of Russia and their actions. And there's been talk of, okay, has China now just been observing Russia's approach with this invasion of Kyiv because they're potentially planning to go and take Taiwan? The question was getting thrown around of, okay, if Russia happens to completely take Kyiv, does that mean that we're going to see Taiwan fall in short order after? Because China wants to consume it or resubsume it back into its overall nation again. And I have to wonder, because I think one of the threads of truth that we can all agree to is that there are a lot of people in Ukraine that are fighting tooth and nail for every single street corner, alleyway, home, and farm that they have. So there's definitely some hard fighting going on, but I think it's a very real possibility that China has been observing how this whole invasion has not gone clearly according to plan for Vladimir Putin, and it makes me wonder if they're seeing that and going, we better just forestall our inevitable incursion into Taiwan, because after we've seen how this has gone pear-shaped for Vlad, this maybe isn't the most intelligent idea right now. And given that the eyes of the world are now looking very shamefully on Vladimir Putin, in one respect, and then people like me are kind of confused as to what the motivations purely are. The whole thing is just a big mess.
Yes. That was the crux of the whole thing. I hate going to a website I shop with a logo on it saying we stand with Ukraine, while also banning innocent Russian civilians from shopping there over there. That was the thing. Seriously? I don't get either. Like,
punish Russian civilians for their leaders' wrongdoings?
Well, this was a power play by China as a way of testing the waters. But
That's what I was wondering. But
it's going to be weird though, because I am fairly confident the next, like, Biden will not be the next president. I'm fairly confident.
You mean a second term?
Yeah, he's not going to have a second term.
No,
so, like, all this
not.
testing the water stuff may completely be, in their eyes, I guess you could say, if we're going with the whole, like, we want to absorb Taiwan sort of thing, it could be wasted with them seeing what's happening, because when they decide actually, it could be another president in there, in play, because, well,
the radical left overplayed their hand, because now that we have midterms coming up, and by a large factor, way more Democrats, I think so, way more Democrats are going to be stepping down from their positions than Republicans are. And given that you have an overwhelming majority of people here in the U.S. that are displeased with President Biden, I think he has officially the lowest approval ratings of any president ever. Those people,
it's down to 40 last I saw.
Yeah, it's dropped. Yeah, since we last talked, it was like at 47. Now it's down to, I think, 40. Those people, I would imagine, are ready for a change, and even if they haven't voted to back a Republican before, or to back the GOP before, I could see a lot of people shifting over, because they're like, you know what, we gave these guys the ball for, they had the Senate, they had the House. We're tired of this garbage that they're messing around with. Let's see what somebody else who at least is seeming like they have some integrity can do.
China's a very patient nation. They always play the long game. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but my only fear of it is that people are still going to be stupid and still vote for the rhinos.
Well, and
that could sort of thing, because then it's just, then it's just going to be like what happened when Trump was in thing. There's going to be people saying we support Trump, but then when the time counts, they're going to be like, nah, we're not going to, like, because we're in bed with we're in bed with the elites and stuff like that, and of course we want to keep our jobs and stuff like that. Like, it's like we almost need just a purge, like. Just stop giving a crap anymore and just walk up in there and just drag these people out and just be like, no, you're done. Like, you failed. how many years,
dude. When you
sort of thing.
Look at the way our founders handled replacing people. There was actually a judge, I want to say, who was on the Supreme Court, was a justice, and because the judge used vulgarity and profanity, the judge was relieved of his position. Because they were so serious. They're like, if we can't handle this without cussing at each other, then we're nothing more than animals. And the guy lost his position. We're a far cry from that when people can say
I think a little cussing is all right now and then.
Well, yeah, but like when you have politicians talking about Donald Trump and saying, oh yeah, my little girl was asking me, what are we going to do that Donald Trump's president? And she says, oh, don't worry, sweetheart, we're going to impeach the motherfucker. And implying that he's hooking up with people's mothers or his own mother. What the hell kind of insidious nonsense is that, let alone something crazy that you would tell your daughter? Like,
I'm convinced politics are a scam. Us in the bottom always gets screwed. No, I mean, for all lack of intents and purpose, you're right. Politics is a scam. That's. It's always a gamble when when a nation decides to be like, okay, because there's so many people here, we're going to elect a person who will then represent us, and then, they go into their meetings, have their orgies and stuff like that, and said, hey, you know what? As long as you just do this, I'll pretend to be the bad guy and whatnot. As long as we stay in play,
yeah,
I'll scratch your ass, you scratch mine, sort of thing. That's what's happening behind the closed doors, and people aren't stupid about it, except the left.
Yeah, and
because the left knows they don't want to admit that it happens because it's so far-fetched, which is exactly what the elitists want, because it's too absurd for the left to believe that, oh, that's so crazy, it sounds so conspiracy, like, of course. And it's like, yeah, that's
truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, that's exactly why they want you to think that way, so they can just keep doing it and stuff. And then of course their solution is to put people who are crazy to begin with and put someone who's even crazier in charge. And it's like, well, doesn't solve anything.
Hey, you're trading up one Caesar for Julius Caesar, and then instead of abdicating his power once he's done solving the threat problem, he just decides to keep it.
Reminder that only the Western countries are against are against Russia, not the entire world. Yeah. For some reason my government is pro-Russia, like Mexico. Shut the fuck up. Congressman from USA had to come to Mexico and be like, know your fucking place, you shits, which is true in kinder words, but more or less. I mean, I know why, because Mexico wants to go full patrol because our current president is a retard, complete clown.
Dude, it's to a comical degree. You have to almost look at the state of the world here presently and the state of just the United States, and I get the comedian from Watchmen even more now when he's looking at Ozymandias as he's about to get thrown through a plate glass window, and he goes, it's all a joke, it's all just a big fucking joke. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. You have people on both sides of the aisle that they have no real concern for actually trying to better people in the world's lives, or let alone Americans' lives. For them, it is a power and a money game. And the crazy thing that you see coming out of the radical left, and what has been coming out of them since for a long time running, is that they will lend support vocally, if not monetarily, to these crazy people with crazy ideas like critical race theory, this idea that we have systemic racism rampant right now inside the US, and they will support those people even though they don't believe it one iota, nor are they actually really hell-bent on doing anything physically about it. They're just there trying to get that emotional vote. And so when you were asking before what happens with the rest of people who are dissatisfied right now with the way former Vice President Biden has been handling things, are they just going to keep voting their same party because they're idiots? Chances are you will have a number of them that indeed will do that, because they've been kowtowed to emotionally. The emotional issues that they have contrived in their minds to be the most serious things. Like, You have people that back during World War II, you had women out there literally riveting together tanks, building tanks to support our boys, having to melt down their children's tin soldiers to help out with just getting metals that they needed for use in either ammunition or machine parts. You got girls nowadays just, they're trying out every single new filter you can do on Snapchat, and they're posting themselves up with dog ears and a weirdo tongue. But they have these emotional needs that most of them feel satisfied if somebody just echoes what their own thoughts are, and that's enough for them to go, yeah, let me totally ignore all the stuff that this person has done in the past and all the derisive things that they've done to get to this point, and I'm just going to side with them because they said that as a transgender individual I should be able to use whatever bathroom I damn well please, and the rest of the ticket that this person that they're supporting is running on just gets tossed out the window.
Even if the U.S. was a world power, they would find a boogeyman. You can bet your soul on it. I mean, it is a world power, but, you know, complete control of the world. Well, I mean, Eric and I are no person to shy away from, but all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes is pure Stuart too in the chat. We all know that behind the scenes is demonic principalities happening. That's what the truth. That's what the real truth is. Yeah. Like, it's some demonic crap happening, and
it's the old serpent brotherhoods that are literally they have their tendrils going as far back as Enoch in the Bible. Those old societies, they are still alive and well, like the Skull and Crossbones Society. That's another big one. Those who actually go and they run around in their underpants out there in Bohemian Grove. Like, it's a real thing, and it sounds crazy because it is crazy.
What happened?
I got stuck by a grunt. That's and that haven't happened to me in a while.
I thought it was a suicide grunt. Are they in this one?
Oh yeah, I had one charging at me when we first started the game.
Oh,
but yeah, that the whole thing. Say all that to say, it's really hard sometimes to know who and or what to believe. But the most, this is a throwback even to my talk with the Ridgedale brand last night, and the question was, okay, you know, how do we were talking on there, how do we fix the issues of the progressive church? Well, you can apply the same kind of solution to how do we fix the just the moral bankruptcy that seems to be totally seizing up America right now, and that's individuals have to recognize that they are a part of the game. Sitting on the sidelines is not an option, and they must educate themselves. And they have to do so by sucking up as much knowledge as possible, and not just sticking with the source that they're comfortable with, but reading some of those books that are written by people that they have a genuine disagreement with. Like, as a Christian guy, I decided, hey, I'm going to read Dawkins. I'm going to read Stephen Hawking. I'm going to see what these guys have to say, because that is just ammunition for my next conversation.
Hey Brian, study about Baal worship, it all lines up. Oh no,
yeah.
That's
absolutely.
exactly the thing. That's why I purposely sometimes throw in these people drinking baby's blood and stuff like that. Kind of a play off a misquoting, semi-misquoting Tom McDonald's line at the end there. But that's, I jokingly say that, but yet I'm quite serious about it, because you know these people do that sort of stuff. Like, if it happened in history, guarantee you it's happening right now in some way, shape, or form. It just makes them uncomfortable because the side that looks like the one side that looks like what they would be doing is their side.
Yeah, and if you get into looking up people who are survivors of MK Ultra, actual mind control and brainwashing, and those who have come out of being under the Freemasons' thumb, it's really harrowing to hear their stories of sexual abuse, of having their actual personality fractured and split up into multiple personalities that are triggered with a word or a sentence. There is so much at play. For anybody who's either seen or read Manchurian Candidate, there is still so much of that at play in this current rendition, or this current version of the United States as we know it. There's so much of that at work there that it would literally just blow your mind to know, even 20% of what it is. But,
wait a minute.
Yeah, he sacrificed himself.
But we just spent like 15 minutes defending that area.
Yeah.
And then they were just gonna let it explode anyway.
Yeah.
It seemed like a big waste of
Right,
time.
we just had to wait for that bomb to get primed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Well, there's the first one of Noble Team 6 lost. We have to watch all of our friends die. That's the sad part of this game. But anyway, yeah, that whole thing is a tremendous mess right now over there in Ukraine between them and Russia, and I hope that we get to the actual root of truth quicker than a couple years, but I imagine that there's going to be information still coming out about this for years to come.
Now, I don't take this seriously at all because I just giggle at it, but what was like, did something happen in Ukraine just for that statement Biden made where it's like the food shortages are supposed to happen or something like that because we put sanctions on fertilizer or something?
Dude,
I
feel like with that
I feel like it's going to be
situation-
anything. I feel like literally they can just like tomorrow morning can just be like, oh yeah, the you know, if it's fertilizer, oh yeah, the spray we do for pesticide, yeah, there's gonna be prepared for your food to be spoilage because, you know, like sort of thing. Like I don't get it.
I think what it is his briefing, and what he's been told not to say. Those two have become blurred, and so he's saying the quiet part out loud most of the time. It's like the man's mind is so far gone. He needs to be iced tea. Can we start that hashtag iced tea Biden? Because he needs to be sitting on a back porch somewhere in Georgia, out on a plantation, just sipping his iced tea and watching his grandkids play around with the dogs. Like, he has no business being trotted out to dance like a circus monkey, or aloo master for those who live in India and enjoy birthday parties where a mongoose and a cobra kill each other.
A master of potatoes?
The master of potatoes. Yeah, he needs to be set out and left to just enjoy his twilight years, because you know that they brief him on
I think
stuff.
he's done crimes that he should pay
Oh,
for.
absolutely. He definitely should be punished for whatever crimes that are still out there, and I think that's why he is being trotted out there, because they do have some kind of dirt on him, and we've talked about it before. What they must have on him must be absolutely damning to him, his wife, and his family as a whole.
Probably some kid diddling garbage.
It's probably some absolutely heinous stuff.
A third of grain comes from Russia and Ukraine. Don't we have all like processed food already set up, like, you know, for those nuke shelters, you know, those people that stock up? Supposedly in every major city there are huge vault-like fallout shelters, supposedly. I feel like it's almost like the movie Independence Day, where there's just this entire substructure below the ground where they just have everything. It's like if you look at Disney World. For anybody who's been to Disney World and not taken the magic ruining tour, going to the Magic Kingdom. Wait, magic ruining tour? There's one that's actually called magic ruining?
That's what we used to call it as cast members.
I get you.
But if the Magic Kingdom is like this, you have below it an entire city that is just a mirror of it, down underground. So supposedly we have that and more under the streets in every major city in the US. I can't fact check that, but that's what I've been told, supposedly.
I don't get why. I mean, kind of switching off from Ukraine, going back to, like, you know, the ideologies and stuff of these morons, like, you know, catering to people's emotions and not stuff like that. I never understood why people just can't grasp the concept of, we'll get together when I feel like we need to get together, but other than that, just leave us alone. Like, sort of thing. Like, let me do my thing and then leave me alone. And I was like, I don't get why they have such a hard time like understanding that concept. But then of course it's more of the fact that they have this weird idea that if everyone just cared about themselves, no one would care about the struggles of the injustices of the people, that ultimately in the end, if whoever plays the most hand of those injustices are them, because they don't care about them. It's more about making sure they look good in the public light.
Yeah, it's a contradictory existence, because so many of these people, especially those on the left, who they cry and they scream and they wail for this social justice, a lot of them are either atheists who are very, very staunch in their support of evolution, which if you support evolution, then you have to support survival of the fittest, or they're troglodytic morons who don't have enough of a short-term memory to recognize when they are being completely contradictory to themselves and their stance from just a few minutes ago. It's like watching the book 1984 play out in real life, only the people that are trying to whip the crowd up, they can't remember what they just said.
Fig Newton has asked a very, very important question.
Yes.
I think it hits really hard during these hard times.
It's the Futanari one, isn't it?
What's up?
It's the Futanari question, isn't it?
It is not the Futanari question, but one could somehow transition to it. It is linked in a weird, disgusting way. But he asks, do we know do we know what a woman is?
I do in fact know what a woman is. Yes, is a person with boobs and a vagina and a womb capable of incubating and growing a human within them and giving birth to that child. That's what a woman is. What's your definition?
I've been down my alleys, but during this time, I gotta tell you, Jerry, at that moment, I was a biologist. I've been trying my best to somehow make that Jerry marine biologist joke somehow. I know there's a meme somewhere. I know there's a good way of making that into a meme.
We'll get
that
there.
was my attempt.
We'll get there. You could play around with
Ryan says, I do. Can I go on the Supreme Court?
You could play.
Are you a biologist?
Play around with the wordplay of marine instead of just being undersea. An actual marine, as in our defense force. I think there's a meme in there somewhere, but that is a great thing to segue on there, Fig, because yes, I wanted to talk about our up and comer for Supreme Court Justice.
Oh, so she passed flying colors.
Well, I haven't kept up with all of the rest of the hearings, as it were, over the last 2 days. But first day didn't go real great in terms of optics for her when she was questioned. Hey,
well, she supports kid diddling, or supports the idea of giving kid diddlers the least amount of punishment.
Yeah, absolutely, which is unacceptable. Like, we have standards and minimums for a reason. Part of me wishes I had the patience to just go back and actually get my degree within law to actually be a judge and preside, because I'd be passing out as harsh a punishment as I could for that. If it wasn't chemical castration, it'd be physical castration for kid diddling. But yeah, her soft approach to handling punishments for people, where, what was it? I think it was like a max of 30-something months. It's
whatever the minimum.
Or the minimum
is.
was supposed to, like, the suggested time was like 37 months, I think, in prison, or maybe it was 97 months in prison. Yeah, I think it was 97 months in prison, and she gave this one dude 3 months, I believe. And then, if I'm not mistaken, called this person's abuse of a child born of a curiosity, or because of their curiosity. More or less lending credence to the idea that people can actually think of themselves as a map, just a minor attracted person. Like, oh yeah, it's never actually go and ride that moped, but it's interesting to think about. No, not at all. You belong in a home somewhere where you're chained to a bed and force-fed white pills.
That's the thing. If you have those feelings, get help.
Seriously, like, don't act on them feelings.
Get help. See, and this is the one thing that I've always hated, is the fact that the more of this garbage stuff happens to, it's the other thing too. Like, Republicans just need to step up and start saying stuff to the very extreme, just to piss off the left, because what they're doing, especially with like this whole map idea and this upcoming thing where kid diddling can start to kind of be okay. Like, we just need to start countering back with just some heavy extremeness. Like, I'm getting tired of it. Like you said, like, they need to grow some balls and just be like, what would you say if there was someone who was attracted to a minor or something like that? I say, do you get help, or you touch my kid, we'll bring back public execution. Maybe that'll that get the point across?
Yeah, no,
okay. I don't get it. I do not get it.
I'd be going so hard that by the end of my my bludgeoning you with a claw hammer, I'd just be whacking at your now bloodied spinal column because you wouldn't have a face or a head anymore to cling to your
poor people who never watched Kindergarten Cop. Kindergarten Cop.
You with the kid, I hit you.
No, he's talking about men have penis and women have vagina.
Oh yeah, and her response to the question, and this is something that actually I tweeted about the other day because
It's so gay.
Well, dude, super gay. Faggy, if you will. But this idea that we're about to put a woman on the Supreme Court for which there is no term limit for. It's literally you're on it till you die or you decide to resign. But we're about to put a woman on the highest court in the land, and she, number one, has way too soft a punishment for people who are either producing child pornography or touching or raping children. And then two, when asked, what's a woman? Define what a woman is. She said, I don't know, I'm not a biologist. Even though
you know the answer
previously she was talking about the LGBT community and talking about her own children that she apparently birthed. Now, I didn't hear her call herself a birthing person, but she, after saying that she couldn't define what a woman was, she then went on to talk about women's rights. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, so then who are these rights actually for? Can you paint me a picture of what one of these women who you're defending the rights of might look like? That way we can at least see what you think, or at least you view a woman as. Yeah, if you, as a judge, about to go on the highest court of the land, can't tell a panel that's supposed to be of your peers what a woman is,
that's awesome.
then you have no business judging or making a ruling on anything.
Brian says there was a local college professor in my town that was catfished, thinking he was meeting a 14-year-old boy. It was done by Dads Against Predators. Nice. I hope they just beat the shit out of him.
And they haven't found the guy's body, right? I'm assuming that he's been cut up and left in buckets somewhere. Wow.
That's awesome.
Dude.
Talk about Chris Hansening, taking Chris Hansening in your own hands.
Well, check this out. I've been listening to the Wall Builders podcast, which is David Barton and his crew. Out at the Wall Builders museum, where they have I think it's about over 200,000 original documents, like original journals, papers, sermons from the founders and those who helped contribute to the actual shaping of America as a whole. Going and listening to them talking, I've been just listening through over the last, I'd say, week. I was working on reflooring a bus for this little, it's like a mobile playground as a recess option for schools. Schools have the option to bring in this bus, and kids can go in there and play, have their recess on there. But I was listening to David and Tim Barton, and they were talking not just about America's origins, but they were talking about what kind of progress we actually saw get made between its initial formation, and then when the Bill of Rights was established, and then the Constitution was established, and what our Declaration, what we saw come from the Declaration, which was then applied to the Constitution and our Bill of Rights, and what the meaning of the original intent behind these amendments was. And one of them, you have your right to freedom of speech. Of course, it's the first one, the right to assembly. But I found out that the Second Amendment had even more to it than just the right to keep and bear arms and to form a well-regulated militia, because every state is supposed to have an actual militia, not a military force, but a militia of people who are there to step up when they need to. There was
put it on YouTube. Dang, nice.
There was
what are we talking about? Because I'm so confused. We're talking about life.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the Second Amendment right now. But this is something interesting. So back in America's early formation, when the King George III still had sway here and had a controlling interest, well, he was having his soldiers literally go into people's houses and they were doing so. Say they were going to go confiscate something, or they were trying to say there was some kind of propaganda, not propaganda, but contraband that somebody had, and they were going to go and they were going to confiscate this. Well, say that they didn't even know what they were looking for. A person could, without any kind of warrant, they could go into someone's house and then start searching the house for literally anything. Then they could find something that they just themselves deem suspicious, and then take that from a person and/or take the person under arrest. Well, a law got put into place which made it so that you can't just waltz into somebody's house. You have to actually go through a proper channel. You have to have a warrant in order to do so. And part of the Second Amendment was an allowance inside there that if somebody tries to break into your home, even if it's your own nation's police force, your own nation's military, your own nation's army, you are allowed and encouraged to defend your home violently and lethally should it be called for. And they even went as far as to say that any man who loses his personal effects or his home because of a home invader or someone breaking in is the one at fault, because he did not take the proper precautions to arm himself and his house to prepare for that eventuality. Yeah,
Man,
that's what we're expected to do. We are expected to be able to handle our shit, as it were. And like I say for great state of Texas, you go to a blue state, maybe 2 in 10 people are ready like that, are prepared to go as far as is needed, to quote the Boondock Saints father. Yeah, I mean the original founders, they knew what was up, and they recognized, because they came out of I don't know, how'd you get up there? I'm gonna get up there.
Duckpat.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What am I doing in my life?
Are we supposed to be over there, though, or are we just supposed to watch?
I don't know, probably.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, the area.
Over there.
Wow. I've been looking for the escalator this whole time. Jeez. I think I played Halo before or something.
You fool. Big old derp.
But yeah, so listening to David Barton and Tim Barton go on about just the actual original intent, and then be able to not just tell you all about the original intent for these amendments and our Bill of Rights, but to then actually go and bring up physical documents that they have inside the annals of their library and their museum, and then be able to show you right there in pen and ink the actual support for the original intent. We have fallen as a nation quite a ways away from how strong we once were, and should still be.
Ugh. God, I'm hard. All this freedom
talk, I tell you, it gets any red-blooded American who enjoys a good steak and a potato every now and then. It gets them all fired up.
Some of this goes right to my testicles.
Speaking about American Airlines, as well as a number of the other big airlines, have actually now joined together to essentially petition former Vice President Joe Biden.
You want to know what's funny is that a lot of the airlines are still, despite all the mask mandates and stuff, a lot of them are still ranked really well with best travelings. But you want to know what one airline ranked the worst? 9/11 Airlines. That's a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy.
Yeah, we're talking about the Holocaust, right? Yeah, no, 9/11 Airlines, that's tough. Yeah. You think that maybe they would have named themselves before the event and not after, not days after, or literally hours after the second tower went down. That's sad. That was a bad PR move on their part.
Walked through blood and bone in the streets of New York, desperately trying to find my brother when that happened.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
I know. He was in Illinois.
Oh. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Sure, it was probably hard to get a hold of him on cell because everybody was calling at that point.
Stained my nice pair of white pants.
Oh man, messed up your church shoes too, didn't it?
I never wore church shoes again after that.
Yeah, definitely not suede ones that stay bent in whatever position they are once they get wet.
How could people let all this shit happen to our country for the past 200? Corruption and power, man. That's what it is.
Yep. Corruption and power. So getting back to the airlines, as we're all very well aware, there have been mandates for airlines, as well as plenty of indoor avenues and venues and establishments that they have to maintain social distancing. You have to have masks on, or you have to show proof of vaccination. Even if you do have proof of vaccination, you still have to wear a mask. Well, airlines, Biden had just put forward legislation to extend for another month the need for masks on pretty much every commercial flight.
Wait, he extended it? I thought
Another month.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they got rid of it. I thought I read somewhere
they're petitioning him to get rid of it because they're like, look, we're done with this theater. This is we've all seen the numbers. We've all been watching the same news. Those of us who are trying to actually stretch our gray matter have been getting our news from a bevy of different sources, and they're like, look, we need to get back to normal. We can't keep doing this. This thing is over. Also considering that the new variants that have been coming out, while they may be more infectious, they are not hitting nearly as hard as they used to, and so people are able to get out with their lives, as it were. Well, yeah, Biden, he put forth a move to extend the duration of requiring masks on airplanes for another month, because he's still beholden to the theater that he's being trotted out to perform for.
Which I don't get. Like, he doesn't have it. Like, that shtick is done. I don't get why they're grasping. Like, is this literally the only thing they have left to grasp straws on? I don't get it at all.
Because they need to keep people afraid. Because if you can keep them afraid, you can continue to lead them around by the nose. Because an afraid person, they will do whatever you tell them to, if you make it known to them that whatever you're telling them to do is for their own good and safety.
Who knows?
It really is tragic. But yeah, the CEOs have gotten together, and so you have places like Delta, American, Southwest, United. They pretty much all the big hitters out there. They're all pushing for this. And
headshot, baby.
There was actually so this is interesting. So there was actually a vote, I believe, in the House of Representatives, which was 57-40. It had bipartisan support to strike the mask mandates, but yet he still pushed him out another month. Because
wait, they all voted against it, but yet Biden said "fuck you."
57-40. Yeah, he still decided to push it out another month.
So he vetoed that vote.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's as you're fond of saying, clown world for sure. But at least
fucking bozos.
Well, at least this is showing, like we didn't already know, but this is showing that there are CEOs of Fortune 500 and 100 companies out there that are done playing this game. They're done playing this charade of pretending that we're all about to die of an airborne Avenger that literally is just lurking outside of everybody's front door. People are tired of it.
So did the airlines just say no, we're not going to follow it?
No, they just more or less are putting forth their own documents and petition to say, hey, look, we're done with this.
Why not just stop following it? Like, what's going to happen?
Probably lose out on some subsidies. Probably lose out on some government money.
Yeah, who cares?
I don't know if they would potentially just have all their planes grounded as a form of recourse from the government. I don't know. I'm not quite sure just how far I'm not quite sure just how far the reach of government without bipartisan support can go in causing something like that to actually take place. But yeah, it's goofy out there. It's real goofy out there. But I guess while we're on the old Biden family, have you heard some of this new news about old Hunter?
Oh yeah, how shocking the laptop that was considered fake and all that stuff was actually real the whole time.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it didn't happen during the election.
Oh yeah.
That would have.
Oh man.
That would have been very, very disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost damning, if you will.
Yeah, he would have had to, go and buy some actual Primo Parmesan from a Kroger to really satiate the woe and sadness that would have gripped him. Such a tragedy. But yeah, so 3 laptops.
Oh, 3?
Yeah, 3 laptops.
Not just one. 3 laptops full of kid diddling, I would assume.
Yeah. It's bad. Pretty much everything has been confirmed that was being reported on in the negative against Hunter. All been confirmed. And it shows direct conflict of interest. So while I'd love to start hearing people championing the phrase impeach Biden, I'm doubting we're going to see that with this current regime. But I am hopeful that we're going to see a significant change after the primaries this year in November. I'm hoping that there's enough people that will step up and show that they're unwilling to continue to have their legs peed on and be told it's raining. I really hope that we see people step up, which is why it's important to get out there and vote. Like you and I have done a couple of local elections in the last recent months, and what's really insane about local elections is typically local elections for like 5th Circuit courts, 4th Circuit courts, even for governors and even for mayors inside cities and states, oftentimes those are won by very small margins. We're talking margins of 2 to 3%. And big reason for that is so many people that are making a stink about how dissatisfied they are with the current regime don't actually go out and cast their ballot for who they want in. And so some people by default just end up staying in their positions for years and years and years to come. Others get voted in that make things even worse, but it's because not enough people who recognize the insanity step up to actually make their voice heard. So make sure you guys are looking up when your local elections are, because as frustrating as it is to have a recognition that without physical action, and this is going back to the concept of placing a sanction or otherwise making a vocal threat without action, unless citizens of the United States actually take physical action towards our government, there isn't a whole lot that just our voting will do beyond hopefully put a representative into the House or into the Senate that we put some, yeah, I saw that. Took him clear out. But putting somebody into the House or the Senate that has our actual interests at heart and is unwilling to waver on truth and integrity. So
I was dead already.
As much as so many people out there are all but for an insurrection of sorts, until the fevered pitch gets reached and the boiling point finally gets reached as well, best thing people have to do is to go out there and vote for the person that you want to see, the person who best aligns with your morals and what you take to heart, and go and make your voice heard. I'm still a very big believer that if you don't vote, you don't get to bitch about who is in office. It is unacceptable.
I hate politics, man. Yep. You know what else I hate? The Senate voting to make daylight savings time permanently out of fucking nowhere. Yeah. Well, I know that's been something that's been chatted about for a while, because I know people get tired of and it's been like voted so many times and get shut down. It's finally gotten approved, if I'm not mistaken, but they're not acting on it because there's more important stuff.
Dang, I'm getting drilled by something.
We gotta go over activate this.
What was it? Oh, what is killing me? I keep getting just
this tank up here.
Dang,
we didn't take it out.
That dude's a freaking sniper with, oh my god.
Oh Lord, he got me.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta do it all over again.
Oh no, I was hoping to go for ice cream. Well, joke's on me, got the egg on my face. Yeah, no, okay, so the funny thing with daylight savings, thank you again for that wonderful segue, going off our hashtags we've got here. Daylight savings, if I'm not mistaken, and I heard some stories, some of the talking heads, they're referencing it this week, they're saying that originally daylight savings was a thing put in place to essentially make it so that we have daylight during our working time, so people aren't having to get off work and have it be just pitch black outside, or wake up in the morning and have to go to work in pitch darkness. It's weird because we have clocks, so you always know what time it is. So it's not like back in olden days when they just had to look at the sun and guesstimate what.
I guess
it's quitting time, guys. We can't see the sun anymore. Got no more light. Plus, we haven't invented candles yet, so it's time to go to bed, or it's time to hang it up or start a fire.
Start a fire. I love that. I don't know why that tickled me.
I guess it's supposed to be for working individuals, so that they don't have to get up and go to work in the dark unless you were crazy like us, get up at 4 in the morning to go and make signs, and so they don't have to get off work in pitch darkness as well. Yeah, what is it? There's a few states in our union that don't even observe it. Like I think Arizona, they don't have daylight savings time, and
I don't know.
Does
They just need to
Washington not observe it either?
I don't know. They just need to knock it off. That's what they need to do.
Now, when you say knock it off, do you mean keep the leaping forward and the jumping backwards, or do away with it all?
Do away with it all.
Okay.
Like, I personally don't understand daylight savings time. I want it to be where I wake up, it's at least sunny, and it stays a little sunny at the end of the night.
Well,
sort of thing.
If you're running a DVD with Charlie Day in the background, it can be sunny whenever you want it to be, Greg.
Well, some of us don't have that on. Oh no.
It's okay. I was done looking at that piece of paper anyway.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the daylight savings time, it's weird. I guess I'm a little bit indifferent to it, although I much prefer when we get to is it leaping backwards where we get the extra hours?
Spring forward, fall back. That's how you always remember it.
Falling back is
you gain an hour, and then spring forward is you lose an hour.
I'm a fan of the falling back.
What, gain an hour?
Yeah, gain an hour.
Yeah, I was a fan of that too. But if we're getting to this point, just pick something and stick with it and leave it alone.
What if they just kept falling back, and so you just every time daylight savings time was supposed to come around, you just went back another hour till we're getting up at what would otherwise be 2 in the morning normally to go to work. It's totally blackout. Kids are having to do recess by lamplight.
Really also hate that Greg Abbott won the primary again like a landslide. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Do they not see that Abbott hasn't done shit the last 7 years?
I had a feeling
you knew it was gonna happen. I felt, again, see, this is what the rhinos have a good grip so far, that you can't, because I would not be surprised that a lot of people voted for Abbott simply because Beto, I think, said he's doing his shtick again, and it's like, well, I don't want to put my risk in a new guy to sacrifice for Beto possibly taking over or whatever.
And one of the good things that Abbott did bring about was you have universal carry now, or constitutional carry, which I think is a fantastic thing. I wish more states would implement it, because it is your duty as a citizen to keep and bear arms, be able to defend yourself, your house, and your home. And I definitely side with what the founders laid down, where it's, hey, look, if you get broken in on and there's loss of life, injury, damage, or your stuff gets taken away, well, it's your fault for not preparing yourself for that possibility. I definitely do side with that. Yes, there's been interesting world news for sure. It's eaten up about an hour and 15 of our time. There's also been, well, I guess, interesting goings on inside the anime community. I got to, we were talking about it at the beginning of this year, but I got to go and be a part of a one-day convention today. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, also, contact Anime Matsuri. Let's get this guy. I want to get Eric as a guest over there. Contact Anime Matsuri and tell him that Texas is way behind Arizona with constitutional gun laws.
We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there.
I should have just moved to Arizona.
Arizona. I guess.
But in any case.
Yeah, so had an awesome time today at the convention. Dave Trosco and I were out there at the Orange Triangle Mall in Denton. Really cool little mall. It reminded me so much of Cherry Vale.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Cherry Valley Mall.
It reminded me so much of it. Its size, layout, everything.
I miss it.
Yeah, I miss it a little bit too. Okay, I
Will not let me.
I think you have to get your... Okay. A locks
Oh, wait, do I
altitude.
get on my own?
I mean, you can. Yeah, why not? Okay.
Okay, sure.
I don't remember how to lift off.
Get out of here.
How do I do this?
LT. Oh,
Wait, left trigger?
Right trigger.
Oh, okay. Left trigger is your props. Oh, and then A locks in your altitude. Got it. Okay, cool. Cool. But yeah, Dave Trosco and I were there, and then the actor for Hellraiser was there.
Nice. I saw that. I was like, who's that guy? No idea.
Yeah, he's really super cool dude. He was also in Sin City. He's the dude.
Really?
Yeah, he told us it was his first movie that he ever did, on-screen role, and he's the attorney who hands a piece of paper to Marv, and then Marv's like, "I break his arm in 4 pieces." He's the guy who gets his arm shattered.
Nice. Dude, what a memorable thing.
But to be Hellraiser, some of the prints he
That's
had
awesome.
there, some of his artwork were incredible. He had a huge group of people there to see him, and then Dave, of course. Dave showed up and immediately launched into Present Mike just to make lit that place up.
There you go.
It was a lot of fun.
I just got stuck. Rip. Oh no, I dodged it. Nice.
And it was hosted by Fanboys Marketplace in Denton. I guess they have several locations. I think they're looking at opening either 1 or 2 more new ones in short order now. But they did so fantastic. The whole mall, and I've never seen this inside a mall before, but the entire mall, it was like one gigantic dealer's room.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it was
awesome.
It was like every 50 feet or so, you were finding a new table set up with Funko Pops, original artwork, cosplay pieces, light up doohickeys and doodads, cutesy tootsy kitchen stuff, and I don't know, sugar. All kinds of stuff like that. There were people in cosplay out there. Just a very cool event. And Fanboys Marketplace, if you guys are watching this, thank you again so much for having us out there. That was an absolute blast. We hope the fans enjoyed it too. But it was really cool. For a number of people that I talked to, it was their first time ever actually attending a convention, and it was like, I want to say they went till, I believe, 6 p.m. At the mall there, and it was just a very chill, low-key event, but had such a great turnout.
See, I think that's kind of where, if we're talking about the anime community and the infestation that has riddled inside of it, I guess. I don't know if that's appropriate.
Wriggled inside of it.
Wriggled inside of it, sure. We'll go with that one. I guess risen inside of it is probably what I was going for.
Wormed its way in.
There we go. Wormed its way in. I think that's where, I think combating back against those disgusting weeds in there is this, that would be a prime example of what you guys did today. Conventions that are trying to get their upbringings, and just having good, genuine people just be there.
It was really encouraging, because we talked to a lot of people that they're over the BS too.
Nice.
One guy I spoke with today, he goes, "Dude, I saw you recently on Nick Ricada's stream, and we chatted a little bit about that." And he said he was talking about Dave and I, and he goes, "Man," because Dave and I both got canceled. Dave was canceled before I was, but he said, he says, "I wish more conventions would bring out guys like you, people from that other school of thought, because you guys," and he was very kind. You guys are great, and I'd love to see more of this.
This is legit. Like, that's what I legitimately don't get, is like, especially when it comes to the conventions. It's like, do you think when like people are on, like the people on the other side, as they'll say, and whatnot, do you think that when those types of people come to conventions, that's what they talk about? That stuff? No, I guarantee you half the time it's about anime and stuff.
Yeah.
Unless they set aside a panel specifically for a specific thing.
Yes.
Which got confirmed and got okay by the people in charge. If those people can't deal with it, they should just leave.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with when you have an anime like Shield Hero, which is written and designed to address a specific social topic.
Right in his nutsack.
Right in there.
You got a question. You want to finish your thought first?
No, that's pretty much done. I'll come back to it. What's
Sig
the
has asked, Eric, which type of character would you prefer voicing? A pro-tag hero or an antag villain?
Ooh, man. So...
I know my choice. Even though it wasn't addressed to me, I know what I would want to do.
I want to play a pro tag hero, because I've got that little hero complex. Definitely, I had a whole lot of fist fights before I was even 22, and I think only 2 of them actually sought out myself. The rest of them were always me defending somebody. But I will say the antag villains, they are far much more fun to play.
Yeah, that's what I would prefer to voice if I could.
Now, if I could play anti-heroes like old Rappa, he's an anti-hero in my book because he is a dog chasing cars. He wants the fight of his life, doesn't care who's going to give it to him. He just wants that fight.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, anti-hero.
Yeah, so I want to play a protagonist, but I will say the antagonist ones, they are more fun to play because you get to engage a different part of you. When you do those roles, you get to engage your baser instincts when you're now having to dig deep and find the person's motivation for why they've justified in their head genocide or stealing all this money or kidnapping people. And then when you get to play around with that, then you can watch subtle nuances just shape your performance, and it becomes something like when you watch Mark Hamill playing Joker. If you've ever watched him behind the microphone, he contorts his whole body up and he gives those lines like the fabulous Mr. J, and he gets to take himself to an entirely different place. So they are a lot of fun. But yes, I like to play a protagonist. I play plenty of villains.
We're good here, sir.
Pro tag, baby.
But yeah, no, the convention was awesome. Really great time. Got to hang out with Dave Trosco all day. It was a blast. He is so much fun to watch work, just the crowds, work with the fans. And everybody loves President Mike. He is just all-time hype man. Such a humongous personality. People were just going nuts. He signed so many Funko Pops.
I need to get President Mike Funko Pop.
You gotta get one. I really hope that they make a Rappa Pop, because when I went to Plus Ultra as a guest there, they didn't have any of the season 4 merchandise out yet. I was like, oh, I wish, because watching the lines for Patrick Seitz, his line did not stop ever. It was out the door and wrapped down the inside of the walls pretty much all day, every day during that convention. But people were bringing vinyl pop after vinyl pop after vinyl pop of Endeavor for him to sign.
Nice.
And yeah, there were people that were literally, I was watching them walk around. There's one guy had, I kid you not, a wagon just full of Funko Pops and different figurines and different prints that he had that he was going around just purchasing signatures on. People were walking around with just cases where they're like, all right, so here's this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, it was cool, and I'm really glad that that they put this event on. I hope they continue to do so.
Very cool.
But
good.
Yeah, so I think I want to say that I haven't really been keeping up with anything Funimation related and how the merger with Crunchyroll is going on. But check this out. It is so weird, and I told you about this the other day. This is interesting. So I hadn't had a session with Funimation since August of last year, and shortly thereafter, come to find out that, and I talked about this on Nick Ricada's stream. Shortly thereafter, I come to find out that people are still jawing away about the fact that I had the stones to call Corona the Chinese coronavirus. And we're just defending.
Oh, I called. Dang it! I did an emergency.
Oh, what?
Jump. I don't get why.
What'd you do?
It said call for an evac, so I did.
Wait, it says our checkpoint's done. Where's our ships, Greg? Oh. What the? Huh?
I don't even know where the down below. Oh, it's down below here. Here we go.
Wait, what?
Here we go.
Oh. Wait, so then... Huh?
I don't get it because they were just sitting there and it said defend, and then it said call for an evac, so I did.
Interesting. Okay, so now I guess we get to defend. Where are you? I don't know where you are.
I probably went
you're
back.
all the way over there?
I guess I went back to the beginning. Okay.
What the... So I'm... Oh, I can call for an evac too.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused.
Oh.
Are we just... Oh, I guess there's a mission. Anywho.
Wait a minute. Did we start it over?
I don't know what happened. I'm just going over here.
You got me so angry. I kid. No, I want to fly it. I don't want to sit as a passenger. Anyway, though, I talked about on Nick Ricada that I hadn't had a session at Funimation since last August, and it was, from all that I could deduce, largely in part to me being conservative, a Christian, and not going along with all the groupthink, and deigning to push back against the madness. I was tired of seeing people being so vitriolic and unkind to fans, and then making these really just obnoxious ultimatum statements like, oh, if you voted for Trump, then you just go ahead and unfriend me or unfollow me right now. You're what's wrong with America. Like Stephanie Shea was one who did that. And I had to point out to her that on her actual bio, she said, made of hope. I'm like, yeah, you sound real hopeful right now. You know, these are your words. Maybe don't vilify half your fan base. But anyway, yeah, I haven't been in there since last August. I had well, I guess, you know, I shouldn't say Funimation session. I had a Crunchyroll session.
Nice. There you go.
Last Friday.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Getting back in there. That's what I like to see.
And not that I know, or a lot of people have said, oh yeah, Eric was fired. Given that I am a contract employee, I'm not really fired. I just have not been called in, and there are a number.
You got blacklisted.
Yeah, there's a number of directors there that have me blacklisted that just won't bring me in.
Yeah, directors. Yeah.
Yeah, because
there are some people. Well, we know who.
Yes.
Who initiated it, and they're fucking scumbags, and I hope they get terminated immediately.
But there's still a couple directors over there that I'd say are more interested in
the craft.
They're more interested in getting somebody in there who's going to do a good job than they are into listening to all the whispers and all the political nonsense that their fellow colleagues will spout. So I'm grateful for that. And it was just for some little bits here and there. It wasn't for anything over the top, but it was nice to be able to do what I love. And
if you guys were to voice as Saiyans, could your lungs handle the screaming? I mean, you get better with it over time. Usually screams and the like are done at the end, if I'm not mistaken, right? At the end of the day.
Sometimes it depends on how tight the schedule is.
Okay, I guess
so.
I guess
like,
that's true.
If you're recording a show where, what are we supposed to? There's nothing to do. Like we're looking for something. If you're recording a show that has already been done, you're getting a batch of 26 episodes, and you're just like, hey, we're just gonna bang through
over here
6 or 7 of these today. Then yes, you'll often see them be like, okay, let's do all the talking stuff first, all the whispering stuff next, and then we'll save all your screaming for the end of this here. That way we get it out and done at the end. But if it's a simuldub schedule, sometimes you don't have that luxury. So you're just having to scream as every single individual scream comes up. And given that I've done Kendo Rappa for the show as well as the video game, I want to say that yeah, I think if I got a chance to play a Saiyan, I could definitely handle all the screaming that comes along with that.
Yeah, I would say obviously with practice it comes into time because you don't want to damage your voice. But I do recall learning that with the screaming, and what Erica said is true. Ultimately, it's the schedule, but they usually try to do the screams at the end of the day because you don't want to scream and mess up at the beginning, and then your voice is shot for the entire reading. Is what I remember.
Well,
being
also
told.
a lot of people don't scream properly.
Yeah, that's That's what I meant.
They
as
choke
well.
it off in their throat instead of yelling from their diaphragm. And so if you do a scream, you gotta go from the diaphragm. Otherwise, you can really hurt yourself. I guess I ought to come back out there and help you, huh?
I guess.
Time I get there, you'll be done.
There'd be bugs everywhere.
But yeah, so it was fun being getting to lend my voice again, because you know me, as I've said many times over, I'm compelled to act. I love the craft of acting. But my love for acting does not mean that I side with the political stance that Funimation has decided to take with their support of BLM.
Well, there's no Funimation anymore.
Yeah, when they were trying to be very active, and that's honestly that's the pitfall that Disney is stepping into, where they more or less they decided, hey, it's time for us to get political. Which I don't know why you'd want to do that, because up to this point, you guys have supposed to have been about telling fairy tale stories, and
now instead you're just destroying series like Star Wars and stuff.
You're wokeifying things and you're destroying what people love, but then to come out and say that they're more or less against DeSantis in Florida, they're against his bill, and all the morons, just mouth-breathing idiots inside the media who keep calling this the Don't Say Gay bill, which is just so retarded. Disney is now...
Are they just gonna keep responding?
They're I don't know. They're now completely against DeSantis, as it were.
DeSantos?
Yeah. So
Post or
DeSantis, whatever. DeSantis. I think isn't it DeSantis?
DeSantis.
Whatever. DeSantis. They're against DeSantis. And when I admit, when I saw Funimation coming out and doing the whole we Black Lives Matter, support victims, stuff like that, I looked at that and I went, guys, what the hell are you doing? You guys are cartoon, not even producers, because they're not the ones who are actually drawing all the keyframes. They're not the ones who are actually creating the anime. They're getting an already made product from Japan, and then they're dubbing over the voices that were once in Japanese, now in English. It really does amount to a very glorified theater company. And it's like, look, you guys, trying to step into this political sphere, you're spitting in the eye of over half of your fan base by drawing these very, very hard party lines, as it were, that not only alienate the side of fans that you're apparently being unfriendly to, but it also shoots them in the foot, because you see people doing like they did and have been doing for so long, where they'll screenshot themselves canceling their Funimation Now subscription, or their various connections, or putting up, I was gonna buy this show from whatever, but now instead of that, I'm just gonna pirate it. It was a tragedy for them to get it, to try and even step into the political sphere, because you guys, you're not even anime creators. You are anime dubbers.
Well, you don't see them defending the people the keyframers who get paid really poorly. You don't see them advocating to get them fair pay and stuff. You might see it here and there. Normally, that's what they try to use as a cover-up when the piracy thing gets brought up, but mostly it's for the fact that especially the Dallas people, because they're not union based, once their buyout gets paid, that's it. So they're not making money, or they're not losing money if someone pirates a dubbed version of their stuff, because they already got paid for it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because we don't get dividends. Now, if you do feature films, it's different, and I don't know how that all works out. I don't know what kind of residual checks, because like doing commercial work, especially if you're a principal actor or even a principal extra, there are dividends that are typically paid out for that.
Big says, to be honest, I haven't watched anime in 2 years and never heard of Eric until he appeared on Nick's stream. That's fine. I mean, my passion for anime has greatly died just because of this garbage. And it's disgusting, because you don't want to let it fester into you, but they did this to where it's really hard to start, you know. And this is a site that talked about how they cry themselves to sleep at night because they claim that there's so much injustice happening and stuff like that, but they don't care. They're purposely I don't get it. It's like when you do this stuff, you have to know that you're turning people off and you're pushing people away from enjoying anime.
Yeah.
But then to ignorantly say, well, you know, no, that's not my fault, you know, and then try to, you know, blame the victim sort of thing that they always do.
Yeah, it's like
it's so weird.
You're being a crummy individual, and then you're blaming the fan for taking exception to your being crummy.
You want to know what I think is hilarious, though, is that, you know, Japan is doesn't give a crap about politics, to where, you know, some of their stuff can be considered, you know, a bit racist or very, you know, back in the old days, still old mindset mentality and stuff. So my question is, if you guys are so pro whatever, why are you supporting anime? Like, anime has so much risque and like questionable stuff. Why are you in this field then?
Yeah, or there's this huge tokenization push
what I don't get.
for directors to come on and be like, oh yeah, I'm so happy to have cast this POC cast in my anime. Who's that for? Who's that for? Because a real fan who is just concerned about having the story told as best as possible does not give a damn what the person looks like. Because if we're actors, then if we're actors who are worth our salt, who have developed our vocal cords to a point where we can actually believably play those of a different race, then all that should matter at the end of the day is that we did a great job providing a performance that was believable and acceptable for that role, and people enjoyed it. It does, like, in all these people who get on this kick about, oh, only black people should play black people and only Italians should play Italians. Okay, well, how about this? Try this one on for anybody who's done anime ever, who isn't Asian, let alone Japanese. Do you think that door swings both ways when somebody says to you, hey, we should have only Japanese people playing the Japanese characters because you're not Japanese and you're appropriating their culture by now giving your voice to them? I don't know that they would sound like that. Yeah, that door, unfortunately, because of the hypocrisy, does not swing both ways.
I don't know if there was such a big hype, but remember that tranny in My Hero?
Oh, Big Sis Mag?
Yeah, Big Sis Mag. Yeah, voiced by Fuckwad Inman, I think. And he just gets killed right away. Last I checked, Inman isn't a trans person. Why did he get voiced that character?
Right? It's like if you flip their own logic around back on them, it's an unlivable.
Plus, they killed him right away. Like, that person wasn't even in the show that long.
Overhaul took old Mag down.
Apparently, I am stuck behind the door.
You got to clear yourself down.
Why weren't there big complaining?
Blow yourself up. Do it. Blow yourself up. Do it. Yeah, do it.
I don't get why. I don't get where the complaining was.
Because I've played more Asian people in anime than I've played any other ethnicity, and so has everybody else who's done anime, because the characters are Japanese in, I'd say, 95% of anime, unless they're doing a regional piece or a period piece that's set in the States. Most of them are set in Japan. Even those that take place inside the hereafter, the people were in Japan at one point, and now they're just in.
There's always something too. It's like when, isekai. Whenever an isekai happens, it's always like, hey, you're in the afterlife, but we just went ahead and made everything Japanese for you, because that's, what it was. Even though I guess it's a collection of different people.
Yeah, and here, let's top off this decadent enchilada with a little seasoning here, but that's why I make the distinction between enjoying doing the craft that I love to do, while at the same time not supporting what the company that gave me gainful employment there for a while has decided to throw their weight behind. Like, I don't support Marxist regimes. I don't support BLM. I don't support Antifa. I can't stand the CCP. And I think anybody who tries to make an argument in defense of socialism is retarded, and belongs inside a mental institution. And that's not even an opinion. That's a hard fact right there.
Let's see. I'm very excited for Shield Hero. If Shield Hero can come back, my spark might get ignited. But I think we just need to do what you mentioned, Eric, is just go back and watch the anime, the 98s and 90s anime.
Oh yeah.
Even some early 80s too, like Fist of the North Star and stuff.
G-Force.
Jordan had it correct when he said Republicans buy shoes too. Yep. Laugh my ass out. Owns, you are all playing Asians. Eric Rowan. Yep. But that's again, it's the facade. That's why you see them trying to retcon the Western versions of stuff, because they believe they can get away with it.
Yeah.
Which, and like, again, to me, it just explains that you don't care about the craft.
Yeah, it shows the frailty of their actual gray matter.
Yeah, because you're not complaining about the injustices that you're claiming is happening here. That's happening over at where all this is taken made.
All it shows it's a money grab for people.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah.
It's like, oh, as long as they're getting paid, then they'll say what they have to say, so long as it ensures that they continue to get work. Because if you're really going to go so hard for, you can't even audition for this if you're not a person of color, which we're all colored people. To call somebody POC, I find a racist stance inside that. And if people who have to cling to that term can't recognize it, then it's time to start cracking a book. Like let's go with Ben Thompson's Badass, and to start reading through that and learn yourself some history.
The only anime I watch is the ones I create in my head. One of these days, I'll start drawing comics.
There you go. But yeah, it's so frustrating because I've seen on so many different sides that I've gotten, and sides are your audition scripts. We call them sides. I've seen so many times a side there where it says, must be this ethnicity to audition for this, or only accepting actual blacks for this role, or actual Hispanics for this role, or actual Italians for this role, or Hawaiians. And if you go back even 40 years to the beginnings of many of Cartoon Network shows, many Funimation shows, many just cartoons in general, even on Nickelodeon, you're going to see a bevy of actors there that are those vocal chameleons who can sound and act like whatever you need them to be. Because the beauty of doing voiceover is you don't have to see my face, you just have to hear my voice.
Well, it's like Phil Lamar. He played Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Thing, but unfortunately, I think old Phil is a lefty, so he obviously, I've heard him talk about the industry.
Yeah,
and all this stuff.
but then there was so many tweets that I saw Funimation posting, and a lot of people there at Funimation posting and making this huge uproarious deal about the fact that they have a POC cast. Oh, we cast. Look at all these people inside here. I'm so happy that I cast all these black people to play Asian characters. Like, yes, let's have representation. And it was all done from a box checking standpoint that, whether they realize it or not, tokenizes the person that they actually bring in to do those roles. And even though they're out here trying to pretend that, I'm all for social justice and I'm all for equality, it's not equality. It boils down to equity.
Yep.
And it shows that you didn't have the stones to say, give me just the best actor to fit this role. You had to go and you had to do like former Vice President Joe Biden is doing right now in getting this Ketanji Brown Jackson, when he said the next Supreme Court justice will be female and she will be black. You're literally making the person a commodity. You're making them, I got one of them, I got one of them. Oh, we got one Asian, let's get one black, let's get one Hispanic. Oh, let's get an Ecuadorian, let's get a trans person, let's get a gay, let's get a lesbian. Let's make sure we get one of all of these here. And it doesn't matter how their performance are, so long as in their little grouping that we have now played the identity politics game and segmented them out in, they stand head and shoulders above the rest. So it's like, okay, instead of choosing just the best woman to be, or just the best person possible to be Supreme Court Justice, you now had to make it a woman. So say there was a guy who was just better suited for it, had way better credentials, way better smarts. You've now taken that off the table and then saying, she's got to be black. Well, now you've removed all the other people who could have possibly done a better job. Same thing happens with these people when they cast a show in anime or cast an anime show, and then they go online and rant about, oh yeah, we have an actual colorful cast. Well, great, you could have had a colorful cast by default just from the auditioning process, but instead you had to go and make a big deal about the fact that you weren't prepared to just accept a good audition on its face from somebody who give you a wonderful performance. You instead had to say, no, here's the wall beforehand. I will only accept you if you meet these 3 criteria, or these 2, or these 4. Then once you've met your actual skin color that I need you to match, then we'll go about addressing the voice. And so it narrows it down, narrows it down, narrows it down. It turns the people who get those roles into nothing more than a checked box and a commodity. And it really sucks because there's so many wonderful actors who, yes, are getting these roles, but on the inside, so many of them recognize, I was only given this role because the person who cast this position here is just trying to pretend that they have virtue and that they care about the plight of these woke leftist SJW faggots. And scene. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah. Equal opportunity is such a joke. I'm tired of it. Give me the skills I need, or GTFO. Yep. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. And I've been vocal about it online on Twitter as well, of just it's the checkbox. Like recently, a big scandal that's happening, and they're trying to pretend it's not by sweeping it under the rug. Here is a established voice actor, goes by the name Damon Mills, was recently called out for being pretty much a pedo, and there are actual screenshots of him talking very disgustingly to minors at the time, and they're going to try to conflate. Yeah, they're going to try to conflate that. It's a long rabbit hole that at the end of the stream, not worth getting down right now. A lot of other good people have covered it.
Yeah, definitely check out check out Yellow Flash's video on it. Definitely check out Nick Ricada's video on it.
There's Yellow Flash, Nick Ricada. There's actually, what is it, the Anime Collector? He has some really good info. He's really talking about Crumbrion, has really good videos. But yeah, but these are the people that you're dealing with here. And if we just look at the comparison between Mills, the treatment of Mills versus the treatment of Vic, you can clearly see the hypocrisy and the double standards between, and the bias too, because Damon Mills is openly gay. He did via chat, and I'm not making this up, there are texts from, there are screenshots, there's the receipts, did say disgusting things and pretty much grooming little kids. And you can see how these people are sweeping it under the rug, and they're not coming out and saying it, except one person who's an openly gay libtard who will defend him to the end, because, and this is the point I'm getting at, is that that's David Wald. But he is being saved literally because he is openly gay, and that is, again, one of the check boxes that Funimation loves to do, or former Funimation loves to do, is because that sort of class needs to be protected at all costs, because they're apparently a minority or something like that, where half the people really don't care. They just want to get the job done.
It's that box checking. It's, look at us, we've given an opportunity to this poor person, this poor fringe of society person, or this poor vilified individual. Look at us. Look at this poor peasant who we have cast in this elite role. Yes, look at how awesome we are. Come buy our stuff.
But yeah, come buy our stuff. And the disgusting thing is that Damon has sent cease and desist letters to stop the person who kind of told their story. He went under by the name of Duncan, but of course it's been doxed, and you can find out who they are and all that stuff like that.
And a quick note on that too, because like in the legal sense, what Damon did was a smart move, because if somebody's going to start saying things about you but doesn't have the money to try and bring an actual lawsuit, then yes, you send a cease and desist and you threaten a lawsuit with them, because it becomes about how much money do you have, are you ready to take this to the mattresses.
Well, Damon, I personally think Damon doesn't have any money either. So,
well, he probably has more than Duncan, I'm guessing.
Dude, a kick, not kick, I was gonna say kick Vic, but
Kickstarter.
A Kickstarter.
Take care of that
Go
real quick.
Sim Go will take care of it too, and there are people who will support him. But this is again the hypocrisy of the whole thing, because Damon actually sent out tweets saying, "Believe all victims, no matter how," because you know the whole bullshit. One is too many fucking garbage things, which to me it's like you're not going to bed at night crying about this. I can fucking guarantee you. So you can shove that that one thing too many right up your asshole because you're lying and you don't care. But it's the hypocrisy again. Because he said believe all victims, here comes a victim saying you did something to me, hey shut up, be quiet, sort of thing. It's clear that whatever demons old Demon Mills is dealing with, you know, and of course soy boy Toye had to come out saying, well, that happened years ago and stuff, he's a changed person. It does not matter what you do. And again, we said this earlier, if you have problems with that sort of stuff, you fix it before you act on it. When the action takes place, you must be held accountable for it.
Well, and then there was information that I heard this week, which was
Annan did nothing to protect Duncan's identity. Oh, hey, Don. Yes, that is 100% correct. Like, we're at the end of the stream, so I'm kind of covering stuff, like kind of blowing through stuff really quickly, and we promoted other channels that covered it way more than us, this sort of thing. But yes, what Don has mentioned, ANN, that's Anime News Network, were the ones who released the story, and very poorly did not protect the victim of his identity. They forgot parts of blocking him. And the photos that were used in the article were inside of, if I can remember correctly, were inside of a public forum and were not labeled correctly, and that's where people came in and found stuff. So
yeah, that's some
all
shoddy
these people
reporting
need
there.
to up the EGS score to get that mega BlackRock money.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, let's all get into pharmaceuticals. Seems like the way of the future. Now with Pfizer having all these heart meds to take care of the vaccine that's giving people embolisms.
Yeah, and the disgusting nature of it. And I said this on Twitter as well, but I'll say it again as well. Because Damon is openly gay about it, that is, I personally think that is what's keeping a lot of the people from not speaking out and saying stuff, regardless of how much receipts there are to show that he did do this. And then of course the people who will admit that something happened, but like Ron, but is saying, look, you know, we got to you know, he's changed the whole sort of stuff. I just want to say for the record too, anybody who does not call this out, you are fucking cowards, you're assholes, and you're disgusting people for not pointing out something that's obviously has been shown.
Now, do you mean like anybody who was
In the
involved
industry.
in trashing Vic Mignogna who doesn't call this out with the same fierceness?
That the same fierceness and just the idea of it, because there are receipts from Facebook. Like, I'm sorry, you can't hide it. And to try to say they retracted it by saying it was fabricated. I don't personally think one person went through a bunch of Facebook manipulation techniques to say that sort of stuff. It's not fabricated. Like, don't even try to pull it. But anybody who doesn't like condone, have the same sort of ferocity to not believe this so-called, I was gonna say so-called, but I believe he is a victim of some sense, and not fighting with that ferocity of this person needs to be heard and his story needs to be told, whatever.
Just like those who they say
those
were
who did
preyed upon by
preyed
Vic.
upon by Vic. You guys are disgusting assholes, and as far as I'm concerned, you guys are indeed part of the problem, and you should be held just as accountable for the stuff that happens.
Well, and it's hard to, because if it's like if somebody's going to bring accusations or bring into to people's knowledge something that took place, something bad that took place, if that person isn't prepared to go the distance and actually take that person who they're bringing information out about to court, then it's like, okay, is this a wasted effort? Because yes, you've let people know, But now what happens? Are we expecting, because the statute of limitations hasn't run out on this event that this person Duncan, or these events that Duncan has been talking
Best of my
about.
memory, the retraction never said it wasn't true.
Yeah,
no,
it was
Damon
just
himself
cease and
confirmed it.
desist.
He confirmed it by actually that cease and desist letters. He confirmed it, if I'm not mistaken. Or there's again, I'm not an expert. Like, more people did more research into it. I'm kind of speaking off the cuffs here. But yeah, he confirmed it.
Yeah, suffice it to say that
Suffice it
it's
to
a very
say
ugly issue.
It's an ugly issue, and he did confirm it. And there are people who are refusing to even acknowledge it. Is something that I think is the most disgusting part. That's why they're cowards. That's why that's where I'm saying with the complaining of this stuff happens all the time, and you know, there's so many people who don't get their justice. It's like, it's because of people like you, who I'm more than positive there's something really scummy happening with certain VAs in that circle. Because I think it's one of the things where if Damon goes down, I think he actually has dirt, or at least know of stuff that people who probably have done the same thing, if not maybe other disgusting stuff. And it's one of those, like, if I go down, like, we're releasing all the things, so just protect him.
It's like when you get to a certain level inside, and this is if you're not a God-fearing person who colors inside the lines, when you get to a certain level of notoriety inside the entertainment world, you not only live considerably harder than those around you, but you start pushing just to see what you can get away with. And some people, they end up pushing the bounds of what is beyond human decency into a level that becomes predatory and or criminal. And it sucks because due to the overinflated sense of self that so many people get, and then the actions that they take while operating in that overinflated self, it means that there are a lot of people in this industry that have skeletons in the closet. And if they're going to measure out to somebody, this is why I put that tweet up the other day, which said, hey, look, do unto others what you would have done unto you. For the measure with which you use, it will be measured unto you. It's why if somebody has a skeleton in their closet and they decide to start giving others the beatdown, as it were, on social media, well, they better be prepared for when their own roosters come home to roost. Because guaranteed, if you upset the fan base that has built you too much, they will dig back through the annals of whatever you have said online, whatever you have done online. They will archive it and they will cut you to pieces with it.
Well, that's and they're the ones that started it too, because then they cry when it happens to them and say they're being bullied, they're being attacked. But that's literally their tactics of how they get people canceled. I also didn't realize there were many Christian conservative VAs in the industry till I found out about Vic and Eric, and I literally thought it was all run by crazy liberals. That is the thing. Nick said something very fierce that I do agree with. But for time's sake, that it all comes down to the ideology and the point of certain individuals who just people are drawn to because they're generally caring people. They have empathy for people. They try to relate to people. They actually care about the fans. All of it stems from jealousy and pride. Is that they do not understand how people can be attracted to this person or this person and stuff like that. And a lot of the times it is someone who is, you know, on the other side of the political spectrum, a Christian.
People are thirsty for truth.
Yeah, people who are thirsting for truth. That is what happens, unfortunately, and they're upset that the artificial empathy that they display only socially isn't being believed. That's what it comes down to, and it's quite disgusting. Shouldn't have nothing to do with it. It should just be about the craft.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
enjoying it.
But it's like when they decided that they wanted to open that can of worms, open Pandora's box, as it were. you don't suddenly get to close Pandora's box back up, which is why
if you have stuff, if you have your own, if you have your skeletons in your closet, fix them.
Yeah, well,
Address them.
Yeah,
You know, that's the
exactly.
thing. You fix it to make yourself feel better. Do not let these people tell you how to fix it, because it will never be enough. That's the key thing.
And never apologize to the mob.
Never apologize to a mob. If there's skeletons in your closet, you fix it personally with yourself and maybe with whoever, you know, anybody that was involved in stuff. You apologize to them and them alone. You do not need to apologize for other people or to other people who had nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely. And especially, don't apologize to a mob that demands an apology for which they will grant no forgiveness.
they won't grab forgiveness, and they're going to use it to beat you over the head more. That's what they're going to do.
You will be cudgeled.
Yep. And we are exactly at 9 o'clock.
Nice.
And again, it's just be your, you know, be true, be yourself, and just, it should be about enjoying the craft, but it's not. And that's where a lot of people, they don't want that in the industry because they want to be in control.
Yeah. It will, and yeah, you know, you pretty much hit that on the head. And I haven't spoken out about the whole Damon Mills saga at largely because I don't have all the facts, and as Greg said, we're seeing a lot of people online who are doing a fabulous job covering just all that's been going on, and the depth of
there's people who've
information
done it way
getting.
better than us.
It's like, whoa. But I will say this: I had a wonderful time providing voices to anime characters, monsters, animals, the whole nine. I had a wonderful time directing. But I abhor Funimation, God rest its soul's decision to try and start playing politics. I abhor that decision and reject that outright. I think the shady dealings and the shady way things have appeared to be done over the years, the action taken against people by those inside the industry who are higher ups and were never curtailed in and told, hey, look, calm it down. Not only are you hurting our brand, but you're hurting the community at large. Because that was never ever addressed like it should have been. I abhor their inaction for that, and I condemn that outright. Suffice to say that you can work for a company, you can do what you love, you can apply your gifts in whatever capacity you are able to, but you do not have to accept, and you do not have to support the inanity that some businesses with their social media teams will engage in.
Very good. Very good. Alrighty. Well, that was Hot Button Co-op. We did it on a Saturday as opposed to a Friday, so we will see what we have next.
Yeah, we gotta leave on a high note here. What kind of high note can we leave? Oh, here's a high note for you guys. Tiny Tina's Wonderland
There you go.
just dropped yesterday, and I play a role inside that. If you look up me in the credits, you'll see me just above Eric Vale, who plays that blue guy, or that blue hat guy, I think is his character. Real sweet. I play Vorkanar, the dragon god, inside there.
Very nice. Awesome.
And really excited to play the game. It looks like it is going to be an awesome time.
There we go.
Just got on
A
Steam.
high note. Eric is in, what is it called?
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Tiny
Gearbox.
Tina's Wonderland by Gearbox.
Yep.
And I'm just I noticed I was stumbling at the end there, so I'm like, whatever. But yeah.
Gearbox.
But remember, you know, be the best you can be. You know, harness in your goodness. Try to just, you know, just be yourself and be kind to other people. And
Yeah, be kind and don't disallow yourself the right to be angry. Because
shame them with truth and a little trolling. That's me, though.
Truth and trolling. Double
Truth
T,
and trolling.
T squared.
The T squared.
But you are absolutely justified to be angry. Just in your
If
anger, don't sin, as it were. let whatever is said and done inside your anger be for the express purpose of bringing correction and a rebuke instead of bringing malice and hatred.
Yep.
And
very good. There you go. Again, Eric and Tiny, I forgot it already.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Dang it, I was close. Tiny Tina. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Check it out. All of our social media is listed in the description below. Great to see you guys come back again after such a long hiatus. I think we are still trying to shoot for Friday, 7 p.m. If not, it's usually 7, either Friday or Saturday, something like that. So, yep. Thanks again, Brian, for joining us.
Yes,
take it easy, you guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Take care. Stay strong, and we'll catch you guys later. Adios. Adieu.